Once upon a time in the land of the midnight sun, there lived a boy whose laughter echoed like the chime of distant bells. But one day, a dark wind swept across the village, stealing the boy's joy and replacing it with an unending sadness. All the healers were summoned, but none could banish the cloud that had settled over the boy's heart. And as days turned into weeks, hope began to fade. Yet an old tale flickered in the village elder's eyes, a legend whispered from mother to daughter about a mythical creature that dwelt in the crystal grotto. They called it the Keeper of Joy, a luminous bird said to reside in the deepest, darkest cave of all. Its feathers, it was believed, held the power to heal any broken spirit. So, with a heart full of longing and a prayer on his lips, the boy's father ventured into the mountains to seek this mystical bird. He braved treacherous paths, scaled sheer cliffs, and forded icy streams until he reached a cavern shrouded in mist and silence. Inside lay a vast grotto, its ceiling adorned with thousands of glistening crystals that refracted the faintest glimmer of light into 1,000 rainbows. And in the center perched a magnificent bird. Its feathers shone like polished gemstones, each one a facet of a radiant pearl. The sight filled the man with awe, yet he remembered his purpose and approached the bird. "O Keeper of Joy," he pleaded, "my son is trapped in a sorrow deeper than the darkest night. Please grant me one of your feathers to heal his broken heart." The bird regarded him silently, its gaze as sharp and clear as polished steel. Then, to his surprise, it spoke. "Why should I help you?" it asked, its voice like the tinkling of a mountain stream. "My child has lost his way," the man replied. "He no longer laughs or smiles. Can't you see I would do anything to bring back my son's joy?" The bird tilted its head, considering his words. Finally, it spread its wings, causing a shower of sparkling sparks to rain down around them. "Very well," it said. "I will help your son, but you must first complete 3 tasks." The man bowed his head in gratitude. "I will do anything." "Then listen carefully," said the bird. "For your first task is to find the Spring of Echoes. It is hidden deep within this mountain, guarded by illusions and riddles. If you cannot navigate its trials, you will never find what you seek." With that, the bird dropped a single gleaming feather into the man's outstretched hands. It was warm to the touch, pulsing with a soft inner light. The man clutched it close, feeling a surge of determination and hope rekindled within him. Then the ground trembled and the crystal ceiling above them began to crack. The cavern was collapsing. The man stumbled, dropping the feather, which rolled under a falling crystal. He lunged for it, but it was too late. The crystal hit the bird, knocking it unconscious and sealing the entrance to the grotto with tons of rock and earth. Desperate to fulfill his promise and rescue the bird, not to mention save himself, the man rallied and began digging. The air grew thick with dust, making it hard to breathe, but his resolve was stronger. After hours of digging, the entrance was finally free. Shaking off the dust, he rushed inside to find the bird seemingly unharmed, but still unconscious. To revive it, the man gently tucked the feather he'd found earlier into its wing. As if jolted awake, the bird opened its eyes, fixing their gazes together. "You have proven yourself worthy," it said, its voice echoing with newfound respect. "Take this final feather. With it, you can awaken my people and fill your world with joy." Taking the feather, the man smiled, tears welling up in his eyes. He knew his son would be whole again. Rushing home, he plunged the feather into a nearby stream, and it blossomed into an iridescent flower, filling the valley with an enchanting melody. Overjoyed, the boy's mother gathered the flower's pollen and sprinkled it over her sleeping son. As the first rays of sunlight touched his face, he stirred, his eyes widening as he inhaled the flower's fragrance. He sat up and threw back his head and laughed, a sound that echoed the chime of distant bells. The old tale passed down through generations taught many lessons, but perhaps the most important was that even in the darkest times, hope can blossom when we tend to our purpose with patience and compassion. Now, dear friends, I want to share another tale about a princess who set out on a quest to uncover the source of her misfortunes. But before I begin, I kindly ask you to support us by subscribing. If you enjoy our stories, your subscription will ensure that we continue bringing these magical tales to children and adults alike. And now let us dive into the enchanting narrative of the princess and the talking stone. Once upon a time, nestled amidst rolling hills and babbling brooks, stood a majestic palace. Within its grand halls lived a beautiful princess named Amara. But despite her royal lineage, a shadow of misfortune clung to her. No matter what she did, everything seemed to go wrong. Her livestock perished, her crops withered, and an eerie chill permeated the castle, seeping into the hearts of everyone around her. Distraught and desperate, Amara turned to her wise grandmother, the Queen Mother. "Beloved grandmother," she implored, "help me break this curse that haunts me. Only you can help me now." The Queen Mother, after a thoughtful pause, replied, "My dear granddaughter, you are cursed because of a wicked witch's spell. The only way to break it is to retrieve the enchanted pebble from the bottom of the Whispering Lake and bring it here by sunset." Armed with this newfound hope, Amara set out on her quest. The journey was fraught with challenges. Thorny bushes scratched at her skin, thorny branches snagged at her clothes, and biting cold threatened to freeze her to the core. Just when her spirits were at their lowest, she spotted a majestic white horse grazing peacefully nearby. Remembering her grandmother's words, "Where there is sorrow, happiness rejoices," Amara approached the horse, stroking its silky mane and whispering a heartfelt plea. And as if understanding her desperation, the horse neighed softly and nuzzled her hand. With newfound strength, Amara mounted the horse and raced toward the Whispering Lake. As she drew closer, however, a deep sense of foreboding washed over her. For guarding the lake was a fearsome dragon, its scales shimmering like 1,000 shields and smoke curling from its nostrils. Undeterred, Amara spurred her horse forward, reaching into her pocket for the small bag of pebbles she'd brought with her. As the dragon loomed closer, she flung a handful of pebbles behind her, distracting it long enough for her to gallop past. Reaching the lake's edge, Amara dismounted, tied the horse to a nearby tree, and plunged into the icy waters. The lake was freezing cold, and soon her fingers and toes grew numb. But remembering her quest, she pressed on. Finally, her hand brushed against something smooth and hard. It was the enchanted pebble. Clutching it tightly, she surfaced and stumbled back to shore. Wrapped in blankets brought for her comfort, Amara cradled the pebble, feeling its warmth spread through her frozen limbs. She mounted her horse, which whinnied in greeting, and raced back to the castle. Bursting through the doors, she rushed to her grandmother, who examined the pebble and smiled. "It is real," she exclaimed. "This will indeed break the curse." And as if on cue, the flickering candles in the room suddenly flared to life. The frozen hearth roared to life, and the sun streamed through the windows, melting away the winter chill. Outside, birds sang merrily, flowers bloomed, and the villagers emerged from their homes, shaking off the last vestiges of winter. From that day forth, prosperity returned to the kingdom. Fields overflowed with golden grain, livestock thrived, and the princess's laughter echoed once more through the castle halls. And so the tale reminds us that even when shadows seem darkest, hope's ember can shine brightest, guiding us through life's frozen landscapes to the warmth of everlasting joy. Now, my little friends, the sun dips low, painting the sky in hues of amber and rose. It's time for our daydreams to rest, to tuck ourselves in and await new adventures tomorrow. But before we part ways, I invite you to become part of our story. Share your dreams and wishes in the comments below. Who knows? Your story might just blossom into a future episode. Until then, cherish the magic within you, the heroes you can be, and the endless possibilities that await. For our daydreams are timeless treasures, reminding us that even in slumber, adventure lives on. Sweet dreams, my friends. Until next time, when our tales begin anew,